All right, let's move away from Finidi George now and talk about other members that the NFF have put out to assist the incoming new manager. I mean, Salisu Yusuf. People are still hammering him on his previous scenes. The bribery and all that. People keep coming out with that. Now he will be the first assistant. We're going to touch on them individually. He's the first assistant, Salisu Yusuf. We've talked about Finidi George, who's going to be the second assistant. Then the third assistant, Usman Abdallah. He won the league with Eimba recently, so he's the last manager to win the league with Eimba, Usman Abdallah. So he will be the third assistant. Then the match analyst, Eboboritse Uwejamomere. He's coming as a match analyst, a young chap. There's been a lot of glowing reviews about him, that he knows his job very well. Then Ikechukwu comes in as a goalkeeper trainer to replace Ale Agu. That's one position that has been come out with the most criticism. The goalkeeping department. A lot of people have come out saying Ale Agu isn't doing his job very well. But now Shorounmu is the new goalkeeper trainer. So individually looking at these guys, what do you make of this appointment from Salisu Yusuf to, we've touched on Finidi George, Usman Abdallah, then the match analyst, and of course the new goalkeeper trainer, Shorounmu?
I don't have a problem with the match analyst. He's a tried guy. He went to school. Let him put his education to test. That one, he's got the CV that can back his position. Nobody can come and argue against him. So also was Dr. Terry Egwaje. Brilliant, schooled in Ireland. Eboboritse schooled in Scotland. Terry Egwaje schooled in Ireland. He's a coach trainer. He's a teacher for coaches. Same way for Eboboritse, young guy. But the only thing I want to say is that the personality of the players of the Super Eagles will swallow that boy. I would have loved to see him in under 20, supervising under 20 and under 17, work within that space and grow with them. Because the Super Eagles players, there's a culture with football, and it's got nothing to do with the Super Eagles. Footballers respect who they know from behind. So let me give you a good example. The biggest journalist in Nigeria walks into the Super Eagles camp. The players will look them like, who are you? So let's say, who's the biggest journalist in Nigeria today? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's Charles Anazodo, or I don't know. But like, let's just use Charles Anazodo as a figure. He walks into the Super Eagles camp. The Super Eagles players will still look at him as, who are you? They just greet him, hi, and move on. If Ario walks into the Super Eagles camp, everybody will go down. They will dobale, Egmon. You know why? He's been to 7 African Cup of Nations, 3 World Cup. He's produced players for the under 17, under 20, under 23, and the Super Eagles. People know this guy based on his pedigree, on his profile, and it's not just based on journalism or what you're saying. So when this boy walks into the Super Eagles camp, the first question you want to ask is, Peter, I know, Paul, I know, who are that? And it's going to take some time to adapt into the team, and that time that is taken to adapt, he might make mistakes. In making those mistakes, he might not be able, he will be overwhelmed by the player's attitude. There's going to be deliberate, non-professional behavior. Can he handle that? There's going to be a whole lot. And then he also needs to work with a foreigner who needs him to be on his tools. Beyond that, does he have the tools? Because it's not just enough to be a match analyst. Do you have all the tools? Will you get the clips as I went due? Do you have the data analysis software and everything to really put this thing to use? Would you be given the space to do it? All of those things needs to come to play. Because the most brilliant student not having the right tools to do his studies will still fail exam. Okay? So all that is what I have against him. Shorounmu, I don't know if he's qualified. We should know. I don't think Shorounmu have a coaching badge. So how do you make somebody who doesn't have a coaching badge the goalkeeper trainer of your national team? That's a problem there. We have institutional, educational, qualificational deficit in terms of know-how. And I'll go back to TDJX again. TDJX says if people know better, they will do better. Conversely, if people don't know better, they will not do better. So you're putting people who are going to the zenith of your football, the very highest level of your football, and you want learnees to be there, people who will use the job to learn. You can't go to the Super Eagles and learn. You don't take a Ferrari to learn how to drive. You are a master driver before you get on a Ferrari seat. You don't use a Ferrari. Ferraris are produce limited editions. They don't mass produce. It's not Toyota. It's not a Honda. It's Ferrari. You don't take a Ferrari and say, oh, I'm going to learn how to drive. Nobody takes a Ferrari to learn how to drive. Nobody takes a Bugatti to learn how to drive. Right? Even if you're the best drivers, you can still bash it. So you've got to come with your A game. I don't think that the Super Eagles is a place where people go there and learn and start telling you stories of what happened in 98 or 90. No, we don't want ancient of days. We don't want history lessons. We want people who understand the games as it is today. And then we have the tools, simple tools like that machine that you run the ball through and it directs
to the goalkeeper.
We don't have it. So even if you bring in Peter Schmeichel, dinosaur from the dead, we're still not going to have all the tools that they need. So our goalkeepers are still going to be the same, because when they come from their club, what they are used to and what they are used to in the national team is so bad. I was speaking to a player one time and he said he had an hamstring injury tear. They gave him ice block to just tie on the leg. He needs medication. And then he told the coach, Olisa was the coach at the time, that he's going back to his club. And Olisa told him that if you keep dodging games like this, I will not invite you again. And then he went back to his club and he didn't play for 6 months. Then Olisa now realized that, this guy was really injured. You know why? Because there were no diagnostic kits to really find out if this guy is that injured and what's the extent of the injuries. So those are some of the things that we must know now. You see, some companies, when they sack you, they do exit interview. The exit interview is for the company to know what they are doing. Or if you choose to resign, they do exit interview. Why are you leaving us? What are we not doing right? In your time with us in this company, what are the things that we've done right? What are the areas where we're good and what are the areas where we're bad? You say those things and then they go back into their boardroom and decide, okay, we need to adjust this, we need to adjust that, we need to adjust that. Like we were talking before we started the show, the things we need to do to grow number, to advance this project, to do this, to do that. Those are the kind of conversation we need to have. Do we have the tools? Why did we fail? Why did the Guivon fail? Did the Guivon fail because it was not tactically good, or it doesn't really have the tools to work with? Did we fail to qualify for the World Cup just because, the substitutions were not well done on time and this? What is this new coach coming to work with? Is he still going to work with the same thing? Yeah, we'll fix the idea of giving them a comfortable hotel. After that, what next? What is the government doing now? Is the government going to plan and say, okay, now that Abuja Stadium is up to scratch and is working, let us build a national football center or a national sports center? Are we going to do that? So that when the players are in camp, they're in camp. If you're not permitted, you can't go in. You saw what happened in Cameroon at the Hotel de Robado. If you're not permitted to come there, you can't come there. You can't just gate crash it. But, in every hotel you put the Super Eagles, there are other guests that are there, and then they can come in, join this when people want to see Super Eagles players playing. They are great attraction. There's nothing you can do. I'm a guest here. I'm not for the Super Eagles. I'm a guest here, and there's nothing you can do. Are we looking forward to fixing all of those things? That's the kind of conversation the minister should be having right now. That's the kind of conversation the minister should be having with people who do business with government and say, look, we need to raise maybe $5 billion to build a national sports center. Can you guys help us? And I'll talk to the government to give you a tax rebate and all of that. But we're not doing that conversation. We're just trying to huff and puff, man.
Salisu Yusuf, I know you've touched on this before, but, what do you make of Salisu Yusuf?
I think I get tired of talking of Salisu Yusuf because the angle from which Nigerians are coming with it does not make sense. Let's be very honest here.
He was caught on camera collecting bribe. Like, he shouldn't be anywhere near the national team, stuff like that.
See, that talk does not make sense. Nigerian federal government just pardoned Dariye and one other governor who stole billions from this country. Goodluck Jonathan pardoned Alamesia, who stole billions from this country. What are we saying here? We're creating American and European rules for Nigeria. What works in Nigeria is what works in Nigeria. Somebody who took $4,000, what is that? And then he was sanctioned. He was kicked out of the most successful team with the Chan Eagles. Yeah. These Chan Eagles have had Imama Mapakabo, he failed to qualify. And that's what he said, failed with the team. What are we saying? So you give him the team. He's been very, very successful. Did he do his time? Yes. Look through the American system. You see many people who's gone to jail and come back. Jail for different things and come back. Everybody loves a comeback story. Why are we against a comeback story? Why are we against the comeback story? And the funny thing, all of the people that are saying these things, now, that are, you should do this, you should do that, all of them in their place of work are doing worse. All of the people that are saying this, some people in the media, they are in their company, they are not paying their workers. Some of them are head of units that are holding back people's money. When they give money to run department, they will take it and go and gallivant with their girlfriend and make the reporters suffer. These things happen, but all of us are forming righteous. Criminal devils are forming righteous people because they want to talk about Salisu. There's nothing to talk about Salisu. You either live with it or you forget about it. There's nothing to talk about Salisu Yusuf. He's not paying me to do this, but I understand the country that I'm in. And I see the best people in this world are people who understand where they are. If you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. Right? That's what they say. When Jakwana was kicked out of FIFA for corruption, did he stop the Trinidad and Tobago people from giving him all the positions that they need to give to him? No, it didn't stop them. So let's not deceive ourselves. Nigerian journalists are talking of criminal. They still go to Amos Adamo to beg him money. What are we even talking about? If they come out on social media, they talk like they are God. Meanwhile, if you go to Amos Adamu, if Amos Adamu have any event, 80% of the people that are there are Nigerian journalists. Did Amos Adamu was it not caught on camera taking money? Why are you guys not holy enough to say no? You cannot go and take money from a guy who was caught on camera by the BBC collecting a bribe. What are we saying here? Who is fooling who? But go sit down. People talk rubbish because they just want to have a conversation. They're looking for somebody to hang. See, I'm not part of the people who will destroy anybody just because I want to be liked or be loved by people. Salisu Yusuf, I don't know him from Adam. I don't have anything to do with him. But I'm saying here, leave Salisu Yusuf alone. If the guy is the most qualified person for the job, yeah, you might not like me. I've never done this job for people to like me. I've never done it. I'm never going to do it. All of these people that are talking shit about Salisu Yusuf, they are worse. I heard the other day, I heard one senior journalist talking. I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing? I'm looking at him like, the boys that are working on that, are you paying them? You collect sponsorship money and you lie to people that you're giving them platform. Are you paying them? Are you not supposed to pay them? Can you try this in the UK? Can you use people like this to work without paying them and claim that you're giving them a platform in the UK? So when we talk of international best standard, practice what you preach.
True.
Practice what you preach. Don't come here and tell people one thing and on your own platform you're not practicing what you're preaching. You that will come out in public and say, how he said, why Tobi's acting like he's a big boy. We spent 30 years before we even make a name. Why is this one coming? You that is stopping people's growth. Is that not more wicked than somebody who collected $4,000? What are you saying? Man, people should shut up.
You are listening to Ugbade TV Radio.